Hello everyone and welcome to the Excellecore Real Estate channel. My name is Jeremy Rickard. I am the broker of Excellecore Real Estate. I want to talk to you today about buyers and sellers markets. I want to break it down in a two-part video. The first part is going to be a little bit more of just breaking it down to the most simplistic way of seeing a buyers and sellers market. And in the second part, I'm going to actually put together the practical sides of how we discover a buyers and sellers market based on our local markets here in Central Florida. We do service the Pasco, Hillsborough County, and Pinellas County areas, but I want to break it down to 4 specific markets here in that second part, so stay tuned for that video. But what I want to go over is 3 things that we need to have a part of every video that we do, and the reason is this is really what motivates us and drives us at Excellecore Real Estate. I just don't like fear, and I want no decisions in real estate made based on fear. You don't want to look at blips that happen in the real estate market and get scared and either make a move or not make a move based on fear. I did that one time and it cost me a lot. And in fact, if you'll watch one of our earlier videos, I really talk about that in the keys to understanding the real estate market. And then secondly, I want to help people get educated. Real estate is sometimes the world of the unknown for so many people. I've had lots of conversations recently where people just did not understand some of what we in the real estate think are some of the basic things, and I don't want that to be the case. So I want to help people get educated. And then lastly, I want you to have a guide. I want a guide to help lead you and take you through that process and assist you. So when we talk about real estate markets, let's go ahead and get into it. We talk about real estate prices. Over the course of time, real estate prices realistically, like stock prices or anything, have done like this. So if you get really tight in on the day-to-day movement or the week-to-week movement or even the month-to-month movement, real estate prices sometimes can do like this. But if you do what I call the eye squint test, it's like you squint your eyes and you can't see the little details. If you do that, you'll notice that the trajectory from the starting point to the ending point looks a lot like this. And so what happens is a lot of times people make decisions based here and here, and these are the decision times and places that I want to avoid the fear. Okay, so this is what I'll call blips on the real estate timeline. We don't want to make decisions there. So let's get into what buyers and sellers markets look like in a very practical, easy to understand way. So in this scenario right here, I hope you appreciate my little stick figures. We've got more buyers and less houses. So in this situation right here, we're going to call this the seller's market. Reason basically is you're going to ask yourself a question: who has leverage in the negotiating process? So if we have less supply and more demand, supply of homes, demand of buyers, we're in what we call seller's market. In this scenario right here, the prices of homes go up. Okay? Versus this scenario right here, where we have more supply of homes and less buyers looking at those homes. What ends up happening is these sellers are now competing for the limited amount of buyers. And so we're going to call this the buyer's market. What happens generally in this situation, if this gets extreme, these sellers have to either lower their prices or create other incentives to entice Mr. Buyer down here to choose their house. Now, we erase all this, and this were the scenario that we have. We're going to call this a balanced market. So realistically, the amount of houses that are available in the supply and the amount of buyers that are out there looking at those houses are roughly equal. Now in this scenario, how do you know whether or not you're getting a good deal on a house? What actually tips the scale in your favor? You really need a guide that understands the markets, what's going on and what's happening, and understands how to get you the best deal, whether you are the buyer or whether you are the seller. And we'll get into that in later videos. Well, in our part 2, I'm going to actually break it down into some individual 4 markets here locally and show you about how we understand what's happening in buyers and sellers markets. So stay tuned for video part 2.